Hello and welcome back to another episode of Patrox Radio. Of course, I'm your host, Patrox, and today I wanted to do a little personal update. Now, I was all set and ready to do the next chemical company from the Houston CCS Alliance and kind of go through their stuff, because trust me, there was a lot more than from Air Liquid. But the episode on BASF is going to wait a little bit because I really felt like this might be a good moment to kind of self-reflect and express what my journey has been so far from the past, couple months to really explore what I've learned, where my mindset is currently at, and how my journey is kind of changing, if that makes sense. I just wanted to kind of give an update on the stepping stones that I've made so far, so that way anybody who might be exploring similar options or ideas can learn from my experience. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay? Awesome. So, as some of you know, I do try to compost, I do try my best to recycle, but I'm very big on trying to find every little way that I might be able to change things and just challenge myself with questions like, how else can this be used, or how far can I extend the shelf life of an object? Especially growing up in a mixed-race household, my mother is from more Central America and grew up hoarding a lot of things, not out of some hoarding issue, but just because we had practical uses for things. A very common example of this would be glass jars. I use them all the time to collect the grease out of cooking hamburger meat or anything all the time. But as I'm exploring ways to recycle candles so that way that they can still be used and all the wax, not be wasted, I'm finding that a lot of these jars wind up being the perfect size for a lot of bigger candles that have a lot of wax that wind up getting wasted. I have never fully recycled a candle before. I have only seen videos of it done, and I understand practically how it's done, but never have done it before. I decided this might be a good challenge for me as something to do, as I am very fond of my incense and candles. Since I've already explored incense before and kind of messed it up, I am eager to try it again at some point, but recycling candles seems to be an easier going forward. So, I'm going to take a metal tin can that had a bunch of wax in it that has been salvaged and used on top of a different candle, so it melted in with that candle and has been used up yesterday. I have an empty candle with that little wax button thing at the bottom that you hold your pick. I wanted to see if I can go about making and reusing candles and never have to buy those little things to hold the wick. I want to see how many times I can reuse these things in my own house before either they're gone, they're broken, unusable, for whatever reason, and I wind up just not doing it. I see a bunch of people who brag about being able to do all these little things for their YouTube video to show different options for upcycling, but this was one of those things that whenever I watched candle making videos, they bought specific ingredients for that. They bought specific twine, they bought specific, candle little buttons, and they happen to have one or two candles that they're going to reuse just for the video, and it wasn't something that I feel like they take truly that seriously. Maybe I'm just a prick who's overthinking this way too much. Either option is possible, but this is really just a challenge for me. So I'm going to attempt this soon. I may not film it, since some of you may know that I do try to keep up with some YouTube shorts, and will soon actually be posting the podcast content up there to try to gain some more attention. But as far as the candles go, I think it'll be an interesting experience to learn and to try to get the basics down, the methods down, so I know what to do and try to keep a mental understanding of the resources in my house pretty well nailed down. As far as keeping things in use and reusing things like that, that's just one option I'm exploring. But the biggest thing that's concerning me at the moment is actually all the things I'm recycling. I've already taken one trip since getting my. I have this clothes hamper, this divider kind of thing that has three hampers that hang off of a metal rack. I use this to recycle my plastics, my glass, my metal because the drop off site that I go to has these things separated out to where they'll take all the plastic except for styrofoam in one bin, so I don't have to worry about separating it myself. They'll take aluminum and tin straight up in one bin, and that's primarily the metals that we use in my household since we have tin and aluminum cans and foil all over the place. We just give them a quick wash. We'll take the labels off and we'll throw it in the bin. No worries. Glass, I don't really deviate since they do want it separated by color from greens to browns and clears. Most of my glass has always been clear glass. So I don't have to worry about separating that out either. It works for me. It works in my situation and I've adapted very well to it. So with that little caveat of my circumstances said, I'm getting a little nervous with how much I'm seeing, and I'm only a few weeks in on doing this. I do want to emphasize I have a roommate who's not as focused on preservation and reusing as much as we can, although she has been willing to work with me more than previous roommates in the past. And this is a struggle that I am trying to navigate because this is a part that I don't think a lot of people consider. Because you can make all the changes in the world for yourself, but if you have a roommate or a family member that you live with that doesn't comply, learning how to navigate the interactions between you two and the ecosphere or the ecosystem that you inhabit within your household, wherever you live, you got to find a way that communication can be brought forth, that you both can be heard, and efforts still made. Even if that means you got to go the extra mile to make it a little less inconvenient for them. Now, I cannot give any constructive advice for people in your life that just don't want to do anything because I don't have an answer for that. It's frustrating for me, and the best I can do is keep trucking along and try to fix whatever I can that's within my abilities, within my grasp. But it's hard to determine what people are willing to do, and it's hard to say what's really going to motivate them to change. You know the people around you best, and even then, that may not be enough. So you can do what you can and draw that line of what you're willing to accept and just try not to get down with what you cannot control. It's a personally I think it's a shitty answer. It's a pressing answer, but it's what we got to do as we try to motivate people to do better. You know, just because they don't want to do better doesn't mean that we should use that as an excuse to stop trying. So that's kind of the mental attitude I'm taking moving forwards, given that I have a roommate that, although is working with me, is not the most constructive moving forwards in our attempts to better our habits. Since this is mostly a predominantly push by me. So with that in mind, I am still worried by the amount of trash that we are having to sift out into recyclables and having to do. However, I have also noticed on the inverse side of that how little our trash is. We live in an apartment complex that has valet trash, and we don't have trash every night like a lot of people do. I see a lot of people who have 1 to 2 bags every day that they'll do trash pickups. Or they'll have one day where they don't, but then like the next day they'll have like 2 or 3 bags. And for us, we'll have one bag maybe every couple days or so. Because I've been so emphatic about trying to get the recycling going. I feel mixed feelings about that because I'm very happy that a lot of this is getting diverted from us personally compared to what I can see around us. But also, it's kind of, I want to say irritating because I'm imagining everybody else, all my neighbors, and what they're wasting in the process. I can't motivate them all. I want to, and maybe if I lived here for 10 years, I probably could. But I think that that is a big personal investment for something that will not have as much payoff for something else I could do down the line. Which is the only reason I really try not to get involved. But it is a thought that I have that I try to motivate myself to think of bigger solutions that I can apply in my area. Just because I know everyone doesn't want to do what I do, and I get it. Nobody wants to do a little bit extra work like that. But with that being said, I would say currently it's easy to feel the little accomplishments that I got going on, and I think that's okay. I think that's a good little win, but it's enough to motivate me to keep moving forwards. As far as the composting goes, since it's been cold down here in Texas, a lot of things haven't been able to break down in my compost bin. And that has been a mixed bag of things because it's been able to compress and not mold over like it did in the fall, which makes me happy. However, now that I'm throwing a lot more into it and the temperatures are starting to warm up every other day now, I am considering getting some gardening tools that I can probably buy off of Facebook Marketplace to get in there about every day or every other day to kind of move it all around and help it break down better. I have been meaning to do this for a long time and have just been putting it off because I am very good at procrastinating, like a lot of people. It is not a skill that I like to brag about, but I'm pretty good at it. But I digress. A lot of things that I've tried to focus on lately has been also taking care of my personal space. With that being said, a lot of people recently have celebrated some coming spring holidays that I personally don't celebrate as a specific holiday like Imbolc or Candlemas or anything like that. But I do have some similarities with my Asporian principles. One of that being that yesterday we consider it the Feast of the First Light, meaning that the half of the year that is going to be the longest and brightest and the warmest is going to come, even though technically you can say that that starts on the winter solstice. It's not really felt until now, as in the day of first light. So usually, like with all eight of our holidays, we have a feast among friends. We have one little ceremony that I personally perform where you just leave a lit candle on all day, from sun up to sundown. And it burned for a good, I kept it going a little longer than that, almost till midnight actually, and almost ran out of the entire candle, which is a good little way to celebrate, the new year coming in and all the new opportunities that'll come forward once it gets warmer and you have more flexibility both in your daily life, both in your personal passions, and whatever your ambition takes you moving forward, or even if you just got to survive a little bit more day by day. Um, However, I try to take advantage of this by really changing my environment to kind of encourage me to move forward in my personal life. Before I kind of go into my personal spiel about what I think I need to do to change on all my bad habits. One of the things I did to take advantage of my environment the best is literally just moved my apartment around. So I had a day off that I had switched all my furniture in my living room to suit a change that I felt I needed. I didn't want to fight it. I didn't want to be lazy and just feel, terrible in the same way that my apartment was. Even, if you believe in feng shui, maybe it had something to do with that. But I needed to change the furniture around. I needed to change the TV around, my decorations, everything. And overall, I'm feeling generally happier with how we made this change. I have gone a little more shopping online to find some pieces of furniture I felt will also fill the room and make the space a little more inviting. So I got some more chairs off of Market Space as well and saved a lot of money too. Even getting a couple lamps that I paid, $4 for two lamps, and I paid maybe 42 bucks for three different chairs. So I am really happy not only with the money that I saved, but how much it makes my room feel better, how more inviting it feels, how, just it feels better for me personally and feels more calming in my environment. It doesn't make much sense to me, but I just know I needed it. So I'm happy. You know, as far as my day-to-day life goes, I have a problem with my laziness and my apathy, that's causing me to be very lethargic, and I'm gaining more weight than I would like. So, tale as old as time, I need to get better about my diet and I need to get better about working out. I can do one of those two things very easily as I am very food adventurous. So, the topics of a more vegan or vegetarian based diet has been on my mind for some time. And I have been exploring, meatless options or just, habits to increase vegetables and vegetable consumption in general. Some mixed results, as I still love my beef, but the problem is I lack a serious amount of self control around food and around my laziness. And it's becoming the detrimental problem that is a roadblock moving forward, as I have built such strong bad habits towards doing this that I have become a fat piece of shit. So, with that being said, I am trying to find the motivators and to move my life in a more positive direction. Some of that was focusing on my mental health, which I've been trying to do by changing the apartment around. But in order to also stimulate better mental health, you have to have better routines in your life. You have to have better diets. There's a variety of things that affect that. So we know in principle the things that'll make you better. I just need to be doing it. I know it's a lot of things that guys struggle with, and I wish that I had a bulletproof answer, but I don't, which is why I'm in the same rut. And it's something I want to explore since it's something that has been pervasive throughout my 20s and has been the biggest roadblock that I keep getting stuck on. I can get motivated to do 1,001 things, but for some reason, taking care of myself and my health has not been one of them. I know that it's important, but I'm struggling to find basic footing here, you know. But I know strength and camaraderie can go a long way, and I'm hoping I'm stubborn enough that I can keep going, that hopefully I can inspire a few other people to do the same. You know, I've seen some people give some jokes towards calisthenics, but for me, I think it's going to be one of the easiest ways to start getting used to moving and working out. And hopefully, as I get more comfortable with moving my body, I can move on to doing other things. Since I personally don't like, bulking, I've been adverse to working out with heavy equipment, but there are advantages and disadvantages to everything. So building blocks will take me that far to where I can explore those questions of what I really want to do. But primarily, I think I just want to get used to moving again and build my flexibility, as I slowly start to burn some calories and burn some fat. As far as actually personally addressing my psyche, my mind, I am trying to find options to pay for some therapy or some psychiatry to get some medication, as I know that I have a recognized issue with anxiety and my depression. I want to be either on some mood stabilizers or antidepressants to hopefully try to combat that. Since for me, I do recognize, as much as I hate pills and as much as I hate going to the doctors, I recognize that it has done enough good to me whenever I was younger and didn't understand it as much, that it might be beneficial to be on some low dose for myself. I don't know how to address this question for others, as everyone is very different. Sometimes you really need to work on yourself and have some therapy before you really look into getting medication. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes it's none of that. I don't know. It's case by case, you know. But don't be scared. Don't be afraid to speak up. And, as guys, we're very adverse to talking about our problems, and we're very scared to show that we can be hurt and that we can be weak. But I think you need to work on your own perception if that's you right now. I think you need to really address the things that bother you and face it head on, because that is how we get stronger. We fix the broken things in ourselves, because that's how we make ourselves sturdy again. That's how we make ourselves reliable. If you're somebody who still believes that you have to be, the breadwinner, the center of the household, the one that holds everything down, well, then you got to address yourself. I can disagree with you later. You need to address yourself. You need to make sure you're strong, that you can handle yourself, and that you can admit when you're weak, so you can cover yourself when you need it, so you don't get more damaged, so you don't get more hurt. It takes a lot to admit that, and it's been a road for me to open up and admit that, since I used to pride myself in thinking I was never in pain, I was never hurt, I was never broken. But I am. We all are. And I'm trying to move forward. But with all these little steps, I'm eager to see what's coming out of this. I've been in some depressing states lately, and I'm trying to avoid the negative thinking, because it does me no good, and a lot of it is unfounded. So I'm trying to embrace the positivity that we've seen lately as I make these changes moving forward. And hopefully in the spring, I can really explore my footing for what I want to try this year and move forward with what works. I want to solidify good habits. I want to solidify good exploration of myself and good teachings to you guys. I want to be able to be my best self to perform, so everyone can have the best possible advantage from whatever it is I can provide. However, I don't know the future. I don't know myself as well as I'd like to think I do. And I can only keep trying to see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and go, as I have a few other things I wanted to explore, a few other things that I wanted to research and tidy up for next week's episode. I don't normally want to keep this short, but I wanted to kind of give a little update to let you guys know I'm still a person. I'm still a human being, and so are you. Reflect on yourself. Reflect on what you can do, and try to make as much, positive change for yourself that you can. So that way, whatever you touch, whoever you impact, you make it a positive impact. That you leave a positive remark on people. And with that being said, I just want you to remember that Mama Terra loves you, and I love you. Have a great one.
Tongue-tied in the rain, soaked to my toes, got the chills to the bone. Cold stare through the haze, shrill in my voice, and my lungs swell with pain. Call me out by my name, speak to me soft, help me gather my thoughts. Drown it out, plug the drain. Turn the record over, it can't be over. Ah, 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 ah. Write me when you get there, to that better place where you can think straight. Send me love if you can. Manifest the best of your wildest fantasies. I hope you find what you need. Over the hills, sunsets in the trees, soak in the glorious rays. The sun will be out, beating down on your shoulders. Tie a rope round my waist as I venture into the dark. time you finally know where you are. Tear my ego apart. We are all we are, and we are all but one. Send me up to the stars. The distance between means nothing to me. Or bury me in the sand after I've done for you all that I can. I'll tell you what I knew, but I've got no concept of what I'll know. Leave a breadcrumb